You're listening to the Casual Swinger Podcast. As your hosts, we need to warn you that the material you're about to hear may be sexual or explicit in nature. This podcast is intended for an adult audience. Now, we don't expect you to act like adults. What's the fun in that?
We're a married couple living in Florida with over 13 years of experience in the lifestyle, and we take almost nothing seriously. Casual Swinger is a variety show, meaning we'll cover everything from music to events, travel, and even the occasional hilarious screw-up. Our show is about entertainment. We're not licensed professionals.
Had anything.
And our stories, commentary, and guidance should not be confused with the opinions of a licensed professional.
Now that you know, let's take those pants off and get comfy.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Casual Swinger. I am Ricky.
And I'm Mallory. Happy fucking New Year.
Happy fucking New Year. That's the best way we can put it. I like to say, hope everybody had a great swinger dead season.
Oh, the holidays?
Yeah, the holidays are where like swingers go to die. Like nothing happens during the holidays.
I think there's probably a few folks that had some successes, but we're not one of them.
No, we're definitely not. I mean, and what I mean by that is, you know, I mean, your holiday, Christmas parties, family, all that stuff happens. So there's really not a lot of swinger shit that happens between Christmas and New Year's. Kids are out of school. You can't get anybody to watch them because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
They got their own bullshit.
Yeah, you know, ours are grown, and, that brings up a good thing, like what we did over the holidays.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Negative.
And it's fucking dry January.
Yes. We even stayed home for New Year's Eve.
I think we were in bed by like 9 o'clock or something.
That's
stupid.
not true. We totally made it past midnight, but
Did we?
yeah.
Well,
But we were
that's
totally
right,
home.
because the casual dogs shit all over the place because of the fireworks.
It wasn't shit. It was drool.
Oh, whatever. I slipped in it and I was
Stop
angry.
it. This is why we're going to rank for poop.
I don't like slipping in anything biological.
I will say it is seriously disgusting to step in a pile of dog drool.
Last night, I swear to God that it was just like stepping in jizz.
Yeah, that was not cool.
It's not awesome. But yeah, so that happened. But yeah, so it's dry January, and I'm afraid it broke our interesting. Do you guys know how fucking hard it is to look at all this whiskey and not drink it? We have a lot of whiskey in the bar.
So first of all, welcome to my world, because you bring home bottles, on a regular basis that neither of us can drink.
No, because they're very special bottles, and you can't drink the special bottle.
My own personal hell.
No, whatever.
But you're right. I feel less interesting. I feel a little boring.
Infinitely less interesting.
I want to go to bed by 9:30, like
I'm a lot
every night.
grumpier too. Like I get why all these old farts in our neighborhood are angry all the time, because they're not drinking, they're not partying, they're not having sex. They just go to bed early and wake up and go, get off my lawn.
Oh man.
I mean, it's not my fault.
But I am looking forward to February 1st.
Yeah, no shit, me too. Well, we're at the halfway point of season 4 here on Casual Swinger, and is it me or does it seem like this season's taking fucking forever?
Well, we did have some hick-em-ups and some delays in our schedule.
Just a few little month break here, a little month break
the
there.
The season's gonna take 2 years.
Yeah, season 4, the never-ending season for Casual Swinger, but we are just really getting started. We have some really cool episodes coming your way, and some guests that I think you guys are going to love. We got some fun episodes coming down the pike. Some really, I think it's going to be really creative and interesting for you guys.
I do too. I'm excited for the interviews we have lined up for the second half of the season. So
yeah, quite a few. Interviews are hard when your podcast has the word swinger in it. It intuitively just tells everybody don't do that because it's not, conducive to your brand, or it's not who you are. I think that most people look at the name of our show and think that we just record ourselves fucking somebody every episode, and that's what this is. And obviously it's not. You guys know that. 78 episodes of Casual Swinger. You guys probably know who we are.
You really think that's what they think?
Oh, I know that's what they think. I mean, essentially, what's the folks at in Key West for Fantasy Fest?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They were like, we don't want to be associated with your kind of show.
I was like, I've totally been naked in your parade, though.
I know, right? I know. It's like, yeah, I could go down there, and if I painted my dick like an elephant trunk, I could walk around with it. But no.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd be a very small elephant, like a pygmy elephant.
You keep saying that.
Anyway, so what's this episode about, Mallory? What are we going to talk about today? This episode is called Mission Impossible.
Cue the music. Dun, 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 dun. This actually is a brainchild of yours, but I love that it really was inspired by a listener question.
It was. And, we don't do a lot of listener question episodes. And it's not because we don't love you guys. It's because you guys don't ask us a lot of fucking questions. So it always blows my mind. Like when I listen to some other podcasts and they're like, questions of the day, and they've got 15 questions from listeners. I'm like, no one ever asks us shit. But
I mean, what is that? Should say a lot about us.
We are not a trusted resource.
Anyway, but this one's a little bit tricky, right? And
it is.
It's one you've actually purposely stayed away from. Is that correct?
Yeah, I stayed away from it because it's a really touchy subject, right? I think that for guys that are in this position, it's touchy because it's frustrating. For women who are with guys that are in this position, it's touchy because those guys characteristically find themselves very envious of the female position. So it actually leads to more fights and disagreements in ethically non-monogamous couples than a lot of other things.
Yeah, I could see the hurt feelings and the stress maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it. If the guy's always staying home with the kids, and by the way, what are we talking about?
I was
what
just
is this episode about? Should probably get to that. But
contextually, they might have figured it out, but go ahead and lift the skirt.
Right. Yeah. Go lift the skirt. I like how you did that. No. So why is it so easy, comparatively speaking, for a married woman to get laid and so outrageously fucking hard for a guy to do the same thing as a married guy in an ethically non-monogamous relationship? That's the question we're going to tackle here today on Casual Swinger. And we call it Mission Impossible because it's damn near impossible to do it on a regular basis.
Definitely presented some challenges.
Well, and if you think about it, what it requires is a plan of action. And in a lot of cases, a detailed plan. And we were kind of joking about this earlier.
Oh my God, are you going to go through the whiteboard and what do the generals use when they're planning attacks?
Oh, the little pieces. And yeah, I mean, it does require a plan of attack and a strategy. And we're going to talk about that. But I mean, it definitely doesn't, require you drawing it out on the whiteboard, even though most guys, when they do go to draw it out on the whiteboard, they just kind of draw stick figures and go stick figure A, this is me, and then draw this big arrow over to the pussy and go profit. And that's a bad plan. And then you look at, some of their plans, and their plans are, all intricate and, multiple phases and waves, and we're going to flank her, and then we're going to take her out at the bar, and we're going to bend her over, and then we're going to fuck her. And it's like, no, that's not going to work either. That's way too detailed and way too difficult, and you're going to look like a creeper. So we're going to talk about the challenges of that a little bit today. We're going to dig in. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to cover our thoughts on what the issues are and give you guys a few thoughts on some things you can do to help ensure your best chances of success in this mission impossible, which is getting laid as a married guy in an open relationship.
Huzzah!
A hot husband, if you will.
Hot husbanding.
Why not? Hot husbanding for fun and profit.
For fun. Drop the profit.
Oh. Well, there's got to be profit. There's no profit in casual toys.
Oh, my gosh. Moving on. So are you an OnlyFans or personal content creator?
I'm not. Are you?
No. I thought about it, though. I'm ready to quit my job.
You probably should. You'd kill it. Especially with them titties.
So let's talk about the content creators wish list that we've created. So content creators of all kinds have been using Amazon historically for wish lists and other items, and what they do is protect their data, their information, that personal info, right? Which is really cool.
It's a great way for content creators to create a wish list and maintain their privacy. And I mean, in my personal perspective, I think it's a great way if you're really looking to have somebody buy you a coffee maker. It's really great, right?
Sure.
But I think that coffee maker doesn't make you money.
Yeah, I think so we put together this program specifically for these types of creators. So it gives you the same amount of privacy. However, it gives you additional and creative revenue streams to maximize your footprint, essentially, for your fan base. And it gives your fans, additional opportunities to have custom content.
Yeah, and interact with you on a more personal level. Yeah. So OnlyFans creators, if you happen to listen to this show, what we're talking about is the Casual Creators Program. And the Casual Creators Program resides at creators.casualtoys.com, and it actually gives you the ability to go in and create your own account where you can, as Mallory just told you, create wish lists that protect your identity from your fans. Mm-hmm. But here's the best part. You can turn those wish lists around into a way for you to earn even more money from your fans.
Yes.
From things like selling lingerie or toys.
Well, and think about it this way. So there's a few different facets to this program. Lingerie is a great example. So on your wish list, you can have 10 pieces of lingerie. And say one of your fans buys that for you. Mm-hmm. Here's a fun fact. Out of everything that they purchase, you get 5% of the total. So
That's
not
right.
only
you make 5 points.
do you get the product, but you get a little kickback, a little affiliate money there.
So every time you get free stuff, you get free money.
And then you receive that said lingerie, and you can create custom content that you can charge for, and that's amazing. And then you're done with the lingerie, and you can resell that piece to your fan base to make additional revenue.
To that fan or to another fan. So you can turn around and take the thing that you got as a gift and made money on and sell it for a profit, and then turn around and put it right back in your wish list and do it again.
Mm-hmm. And think about the myriad of opportunities with, not just lingerie, but toys and other articles that we sell inside that store that they could leverage for that same amount of. There's 4 opportunities by the time they click buy for you to create additional revenue paths.
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of folks out there. I mean, Amazon's probably the most popular one out there that are trying to do wish lists, but not everybody's giving you the ability to make more money. And that's really what we wanted to do for the OnlyFans folks out there. We got a really cool thing coming up here in just a couple of weekends. I'm really excited to hook up with some of these guys. We got some local OnlyFans creators. We're going to do a party with them, sponsor that, courtesy of Motor Bunny and Liberator. They actually enabled us to do that. So I'm very excited and thankful for Motor Bunny and Liberator.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to give them an update. Let them know how it went.
Yeah, so both of those guys stepped up to help us throw that party. We're really excited. And just a reminder, that is, again, at creators.casualtoys.com. That's where you go to sign up as a creator to create your own wish lists. And once you go in and do that, then what we'll do is we'll send you an invite to create your account on Casual Toys, and that'll get everything solidified, and we'll go from there. So at some point, we'll do a video so we show you how to do all that.
Yeah, I am more than happy to do a walkthrough to show people how to set that up. It's actually really simple. And if you can't find it on our website, please feel free to email us at sales@casualtoys.com.
Absolutely. God, you're getting good at that. It's like you know how to find us.
I do.
We'll get to that later, though. Well, hey, how about some vacation planning? We got to figure that shit out.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so this is the first year that we have 0 Hedo trips planned. And we're trying to figure out exactly what to do. And I'm down with crowdsourcing some ideas. Obviously, I still want to go to Hedo, but we just don't know what that looks like this year.
We don't. And we've got a conversation going right now with Hedo, so we'll kind of see what happens with that. We've got kind of an idea of a week that we'd like to go down. So maybe we'll take some of you guys with us.
That would be cool.
That would be kind of neat. I think that'd be fun.
Party. I mean, we do have some friends coming to visit.
We do.
We have a DL trip to the mountains in May.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that, and I know who's going, so it's just some of my favorite humans on Earth. What about PCAP in June?
Oh, my God, fucking PCAP. I cannot wait.
That's something I don't mind taking vacation for, even though we're working. I love PCAP.
And it's cool. I've never been to Palm Springs, so I'm excited to be in the area.
Absolutely.
Especially in June. The weather's going to be fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, PCAP is more than 50% sold out. If you guys have not signed up for PCAP yet, make sure to go to casualswinger.com and click on events. And you can go down and click on our link right there, and that link will take you to our sign up for Podcastapalooza. Join us in Palm Springs in June. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be amazeballs.
All right. Well, hey, baby, you want to tell everybody how to find us, and we'll get on with this Mission Impossible
sure.
episode. I'm just going to sit here and hum the song. Mm-hmm.
So we're Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us at casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message, podcast@casualswinger.com. We are on all the social media, right?
Yeah, I think so.
YouTube, let's see, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a couple others. I'm setting up a TikTok,
Yeah, we're even on Getter. I signed us up for Getter the other day.
Oh, that's the other
new one.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's there. Figured it was okay since we're as big as Rogan.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, good old Joe. We're on first name basis with Joe.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with TikTok. Like, I have it. And now I'm like, what do I do?
Post your butthole.
My butthole? I think that's against their T's and C's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think that'll fly. We'll get banned immediately.
All right.
But you can also find us on the dating sites. That's Cassidy, SLS, STC, and Double Date Nation.
Hell yeah. All right, folks, we'll be back with this hot Mission Impossible episode. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
and welcome back to Casual Swinger. I'm Mallory.
Oh, good. I'm still Mickey. I was really worried that you had left and some other hot girl had sat in your place, and I could have sex with a woman that's not my wife, and I wouldn't have to work for it.
I mean, I can totally leave.
That's
see what happens.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Okay.
Continue.
All right, so let's talk open relationships. You know, swinging has lots of permutations, and some of the most popular, especially lately, or at least that are trending, or maybe what we have line of sight to, play styles is the stag vixen or hot wife, which we've had lots of conversations about on here on the show. But it's not always the girl that gets to play, though, right? Do the guys get to play too?
No, very rarely. You just sit on the sidelines and masturbate, watch the kids, play with the dogs, wait for you to come home.
All right, but hot husbands, they are a thing. Yes?
Yeah, so are queens.
Okay. But what I'm hearing is it's really fucking hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's damn near impossible. It's incredibly difficult.
Okay, so you have historical data with playing as a solo married man.
Yes.
Okay, and according to you, it's like the hardest fucking thing you've ever done.
I found calculus to be easier.
And, well, you're not good at math.
Exactly. That is exactly my point. You have picking up what I'm putting down right there, darling. It's incredibly difficult. I think it's one of the hardest things in the lifestyle really to do is to play as a married man.
You think it would be such a natural fit, because when I think of men out in the wild, you know, you guys almost seem to thrive on the chase a little bit.
Well, I think initially when couples open up their relationship, the guy's like, yeah, this is a great idea. I'm gonna hook up and you go do your thing and I'll go do my thing. And then he creates a profile and he sits back and he goes and just waits for the ladies to come running through the door, you know, and of course that doesn't happen. So let's just get this out of the way. And again, there's going to be some aspects to this episode that you, sitting in your chair, whether you're in your car, in your office, at the gym, that you don't agree with. Okay, this is definitely opinion-centric for us.
Yes.
So don't take this as gospel. Your mileage and your experience may be different.
Oh my gosh, nothing we say should be taken as gospel.
Fuck no, we're idiots. But the thing that I want to get out of the way is if you decide to mutually open your relationship, gentlemen, there is a rule. Much like gravity or the sun rising in the east. Your wife will get laid more than you will. That is a rule. It is a cosmic fucking law. Your wife will get laid more than you. It just is the way it is. So start this journey by accepting that simple but sometimes unfortunate truth. Now, the rest of what I'm going to say here and the rest of what Mallory's going to say is opinion. That is a law. It is like gravity. She's going to get laid more than you.
Okay.
It's irrefutable.
Okay, but why?
Well, all right.
School me
all right,
up.
Mallory.
School
all right,
me up.
let's play a game.
Okay.
All right, since you're sitting there being all fucking smug. All right? You are. You've got this smug face right now. Like, well, I don't see the problem. Tell me all about it, Mickey.
Equal opportunity. Come
Equal
on.
opportunity, my balls. All right, let's start with that. All right, Mallory, we're going to play a game. You're sitting your happy ass at a bar.
I like
with
a
that
bar,
smug little face.
but
of
not in dry January.
No, not in dry January because you'd
not
be very
smug
unhappy.
or smarmy because that makes me unapproachable.
No, you're definitely smug right now. But okay, we're gonna play a game. You're standing at a bar, and this handsome, good-looking, charming guy comes up and sits down next to you. He's funny. He's got perfect teeth, beautiful eyes. He's making the right jokes. Everybody.
Yes,
at the
I will
bar
leave my
loves him.
husband. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, I'm going to go cry now. But
Just kidding.
here's what happens. He looks at you and he offers to buy you a drink. And you're already like, yeah, hey. But
Okay.
now you look at his hands and you see no evidence of a wedding ring.
Okay, I don't check. But okay.
All right. Well, let's say you did because you had a soul this time.
Okay.
And you look down, no evidence of a wedding ring. What is your first reaction? Game on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like,
You're like, hey.
yeah, I mean, if you don't see it there, the assumption's they're single.
Okay.
Or
and
you-
so with
yeah.
everything he's got going for him.
I think
With
okay.
everything he's got going for him, and you and I having a somewhat open relationship, you would be like, all right, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Let's fuck.
If it
right?
goes well, sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. All right, I'm going to give you the exact same guy. Just as charming, just as handsome, just as affable. Everybody loves him. Same guy, but you look down and see a wedding ring.
Gross. I'm just kidding.
Really? I mean, it took half a second. You're like, fuck him. Gross. I hope he dies in a fiery
No,
crash.
no. Don't put words in my mouth.
I know, I saw it. You were smug.
You can put many other things in my mouth, but not those words. Definitely not.
All right, well, you definitely thought, fuck that guy.
Actually,
I saw
we've had this debate before, and here's my perspective. Yes, seeing a wedding ring, it's a trigger, right? To
Why?
ask those
Be
questions.
honest. Why? What triggers you about
Because at that point, the assumption is, especially if we met out in the wild, right? Just at a bar. This is not a determined date. We haven't been chatting. I don't know this guy before he approached me. For me, from a moral karmic perspective, I see that wedding ring and I'm like, you fucker. I'm
so
gonna
he's
automatically
a fucker because he's married.
I'm gonna, and this is me showing what kind of asshole I am.
I mean, he's trying to fuck her.
I'm going to assume that I've already assumed he's married and does not have permission, like he's just being a scoundrel. And that may not be the case. Statistically speaking, what was it? Over 20% of folks are in some type of open relationship or had this
almost
experience
25.
before. So there is a possibility that human being may have permission to do so. But in that moment, my snap judgment, because I'm still human, would be rascal.
Rascal, really?
Well,
That's
scoundrel.
What you came up with?
I know. I like scoundrel better, actually.
Rascals are lovable.
I know. They're adorable.
You're like, you skullduggerous fuck. Get out of here.
Skullduggerous, that's good. Very, very good.
Right.
Give me more.
So help me out here. I mean, is being married a turnoff for you ladies? All right, let's just talk about you. Be smug. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not being smug. It's not being married is not a turnoff, but it could be a deal breaker because it really depends on the ethical part of the rest of that conversation. I don't want to be privy to someone else's adultery. I mean, there's so many other options in this world. I just don't want to be a part of that fucking mess.
Yeah, and I think you've done a pretty good job of explaining what it is and what that triggering mechanism is for you. And I don't know in that situation that there's a way around it because there's nothing he can say that's going to make you feel like it's okay.
In that moment, I've already decided he's a liar. You're 100% right. I've made that judgment, and every word that could possibly come out of his mouth in that moment, aside from his wife in that bar walking over to me and be like, I would love for you to have sex with my husband.
Which in a different situation would also send you running out of the bar.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm just saying the chances, and this is where the Mission Impossible theme comes from, because in the wild, it's going to be very difficult to do while being honest. It seems like the only way around it in the wild is to lie. And I've seen so many guys do it.
Or lie by omission, yeah.
And I have to be perfectly honest, in my early days in the lifestyle, when I was in an open marriage and an open relationship, I got to the point where I did lie about it. And because it was the only way. No one would give me a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, you were very honest about that part of it when we talked about you being in a lifestyle before I came into the picture and you playing solo. When you said that, I was like, wow, you didn't even miss a beat or feel guilty. You're like, well, different times. And
actually, I don't know if you remember this, but the bitch of it was that when I was being semi-dishonest, well, no, I was being entirely fucking dishonest. Let's just call a spade a spade. But a lot of the women, so out of the 5 or 6 that I had that were regulars, 4 of them ended up being married and were cheating on their husbands.
Oh, so by proxy, they were lying as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
but
shit.
they all would have told me to eat shit and fuck off if I was married.
Did they let you know they were married ahead of time?
Not initially. It came out in the wash, but I'm like, and so the first one I was like, oh wow, that's refreshing. Me too. And she's like, you son of a bitch, and she left me sitting there in the bar. I mean, it absolutely happened.
So it was okay for her, but not for
100%.
you. Get out.
100%.
That's fucked up.
You're telling me, which is why I'm like, well, I'm never telling the truth again as long as I live. That did not work out either, obviously, because I'm so truthful now. It's painful.
Yeah,
but
when I ask me how I know, I'm very careful the questions I ask you, because if I'm not prepared for the truth, It's going to be a long, hard ride.
Yeah, you should not ask me anything you don't want the unvarnished truth for. So when I played solo back in the day, though, I did struggle with this. And I found success, but it wasn't the easiest thing, right?
Yeah. So what else did you have to do? So, I mean, thank you for being honest about, lying, which is kind of funny to say in the same sentence. But what else did you have to do to be successful? Did you find success other ways?
So in those days, and it's not like this was the dawn of time, so I'm not sitting here on my front porch in my rocking chair with my corncob pipe going, back in my day. Yeah, maybe a little. But, for example, Tinder wasn't a thing. Apps on our phones that did as much as a computer weren't really a thing.
Wait, please date yourself. Can you tell them what services you used?
Okay, so this is like one of those fucked up things on social media that goes, tell me you're old without telling me your age. Fuck you, Mallory. How about that?
Okay.
No, okay, I'll tell you. So I used things like Plenty of Fish, MySpace to a certain extent, right? Dropping into somebody's DMs was totally cool back then. Now it's sliding into their DMs, I think they call it, but whatever. But, things like Plenty of Fish, things like Adult Friend Finder.
Yeah.
I was on AFF. I was all over AFF. I was trying to do the right thing.
That was like the spot.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still out there, but it's, mostly bots, and it's a complete fucking disaster. But, it was very difficult. And I think the thing that I did, once I decided lying really wasn't for me, I stopped for a while, to be honest. And then when I got back into it, I said, okay, I'm not going to lie to anybody anymore. The thing that made me the most successful that I'm probably not proud of is I lowered my standards.
Oh, you broadened your reach, though.
By a lot. I mean, it was... I definitely lowered my standards in some ways that I am entirely not proud of. I mean, I don't think that I did any peg legs or anything like that, but it was pretty close.
Okay. Well, again,
it was something to do.
Appreciate your honesty.
Oh, yeah. Our listeners are going to be like tuning the fuck out now because, Mickey's a douchebag.
Yeah, apparently, and Mallory's a smug bitch.
Well, no, you were just very, very, I don't know, animated. That's a good word. But, all right. So as a hot wife, Mallory, I got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
And then I'm sure we'll turn this back on me and my fucked up history. But let's talk a little bit about, so let's just say, what has to happen for a married guy to get past the gate with you? And I'm going to start with, is there something he can say on his own, unfettered, without anybody else, that's going to continue the conversation to the next step? Other than I'm married, and then have you go, you piece of shit, you skullduggerous prick. What can he say that gets him to the next gate? What's the first thing he can say?
Well, I wouldn't even say gets him to the next gate, keeps him in the game.
Okay.
That he's, obviously being honest and transparent. If I find out after the fact that he's, aligned himself as single on every platform and conversation, and then it comes out later on married, that's going to give, that's a strike against the trust.
Okay,
right?
so he has to start with, I'm married and it's okay.
And it's okay for me to play solo. So then that opens up to the bigger part of the conversation before we get to the next gate.
Do you believe him when he says it?
It's guilty till proven innocent, I guess.
All right.
I hate to say that.
As a married guy playing solo, we are guilty until proven innocent with most women.
I really think I could be an outlier here.
I don't think you are.
You don't
historically
think so?
speaking.
Okay. So I would want to know more about the situation. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt in the respect that let's have let's continue this conversation, especially if I find myself being, interested right out of the gate. Maybe he's attractive. Maybe he's got a profession I'm into. Maybe he's, potentially, that sapiosexual connection.
Sure.
Let's see what happens.
Okay,
but
so maybe there's more.
Maybe there's more to it, but not right out of the gate. There's nothing you could really say to make me go, oh, that's cool. I'm totally down.
All right, yeah, let's do that. I don't need to know anything else. Best of luck. No, as a hot wife, I think you have a unique perspective here. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that our listeners hear your reluctance to engage in this behavior.
Okay.
Despite the fact that you're an avowed hot wife. I think that they need to know what you're thinking because they don't know how to do it right. They're doing it wrong. We see it every day when people message you, and it's obvious that the guy is lying.
Oh,
right?
the worst one is, are you married? Well, technically.
That was great.
It's that is the fucking canned answer to that. I think we've gotten more will technically than yes or no's.
Yeah. They don't want to answer the question yes because they're afraid of what you'll do, which is leave.
Right.
So do you need to talk to his wife? How do you go about saying, okay,
Ooh,
I
that's
hear
a
what
good
you
one.
said,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to need to talk to her.
That's having the ability to do so is a plus. I don't know that it's a requirement, at least not every time. I think the best example I have is when they had like a couples and his single and her single. And there was
So they had 3 profiles.
So effectively, yeah, because they both played solo and they played as a couple. But they essentially had 3 profiles to kind of like parse out each individualized and the group dynamic there. So
does that in and of itself give you a little more confidence? Because you know, number one, that they have a couple's profile, and number 2, you know who she is.
Come on. What is the first thing that happens when you get a friend request? You go, you look at them, their profile, like see if you know them, see who else you know who knows them. It establishes credibility and gives you like an immediate audit, right? To kind of substantiate, what they're saying or what they've said.
Okay, so this is just like when you rode the different bus home from school. You had to bring a note from your mom, and you had to give it to the bus driver so you could get on the other bus and go home with your friend.
Like a permission slip?
Right. So basically, you got to get a note from your wife and show up and be like, I can ride your bus.
No, but I think you go into this later, like there's something better than a permission slip, potentially, that could help establish and give them credibility.
I think that's absolutely true. I think we can chat about that in a minute. Is there any way that just automatically works with you?
With me, no, but I'm a very complex and smug individual. I'm going to ride that one for a while. I hope you know.
Well, I'm not going to say that you earned it because that just means you'll ride it longer.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm going to look smug with your dick in my mouth later.
You can look as smug as you want if my dick is in your mouth.
That didn't actually work the way I thought it would in my head.
I'm all in. By all means, both inches. So what do we suggest guys do to have better luck getting out there on their side of an open relationship? Is there even a good place to start looking?
You know what? There's a couple, sites and services that actually allow you to select ethically non-monogamous open relationship and a myriad of other things, even down to your pronoun on some of these. Personally, I've used Field.
Yeah.
That one, it has the E&M status, so you don't have to lie about it. It's not as popular as maybe OkCupid, which I'll talk about here in a second, but it's definitely growing. OkCupid also has the E&M status, which is a huge bonus. This one, I think it's a little more popular, but I mean, they're both kind of far behind as far as how many people are on the services than like at Tinder. And I know a lot of people in this community use Tinder for that purpose.
Yeah, and Tinder's hard to use, right? Because Tinder is very much against non-monogamy. Probably because there's a shitload of it going on
I was
Tinder.
like outwardly, as they don't allow you to be that on their service, but I think effectively it is like the hookup app of all hookup apps in the history of ever.
Yeah, I think that's 100% the case. I mean, and it reminds me, I'm going to date myself again. No, not for E&M. But I'm going to date myself again and go back to do you remember there was a website back in the day called Hot or Not?
Oh my God, yes.
That's fucking Tinder.
Gross.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You put your picture up there, and then they can. And today we swipe right or swipe left, but back then you just clicked hot or not hot, and then their pictures got voted, upvoted or downvoted. And I mean, if you're a fucking glutton, you could post your picture and let people tell you how average you really are. And then if you're a screaming hot girl, then everybody's like, "Hey, what's your number? Where do you live?" Right? I mean, they just start blowing you up. So. I think Tinder's the same thing as Hot or Not from back in the day.
Oh my God, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's all it is. But, when we talk about things like OkCupid and Field and things like that, it is important to recognize that not all of us live in a metropolitan area. And
yeah, that's true.
If you live in the sticks, right, if you live out in the middle of, God's country, Pampa, Texas or whatever, then obviously you guys are, you're not. Yeah, I did. I saw it on a map, but I think it's
just sitting around looking at maps.
Well, hey, what else do I have to do? Your mom gave me an atlas for Christmas, and she put it in the bathroom, so that's all I have to read. But
because you forgot your phone. Who forgets their phone when they go to the bathroom?
let's not go there right now. It's not important. You're getting off topic. My bathroom reading is not the subject of this episode.
I'm gonna go read your atlas now.
Get away from me. I'm going to go back to Texas on my Alice. Anyway, but if you're in the middle of God's country, you probably aren't going to have a lot of success with things like Field or maybe even OkCupid because they're just not densely populated, right? There's not going to be a ton of traffic there. So you might want to go with something like a Tinder if you live in the sticks.
Yeah, and there's a couple others. I don't have history with them, but I've heard things about Bumble and Match, especially in the hot wife community.
Yeah, I would say definitely more Bumble than Match. Match is definitely geared toward relationships. The only thing I'll say for most of these websites is they're not really designed to hook you up with a person and get you off. They're designed to keep you there. And by get you off, I mean get you off the platform, not make you come, you sick fuckers. But what I'm talking about is they kind of trickle new users to you like they're new, but they're really not. OkCupid's kind of notorious for this. So when you first join up, you have like 60 matches. And you're like, wow, there's tons of people in my area.
That happened to me in Field. I was like, I'm amazing. And then it was not the
And then you got
amazing.
one a week or two a week, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the object, is to keep you hanging on in hopes that the perfect person is going to be popping up in your inbox in the next week or maybe the week after or maybe the week after. But most importantly, after your subscription renews. So don't lose faith, and keep in mind, this is not going to be free. You're still going to have to do some searching on places like Double Date Nation, SDC, Cassidy, whatever, but you're going to be reaching out to couples that often get a barrage of messages from dudes, right? They're just going to get buried. So this is a numbers game, regardless of how you look at it, gentlemen. No matter how you look at this, you're going to have to throw a lot of game to be successful.
So effectively, you're gonna have to rewind the tape and go back to dating as a single, and then add another layer of complexity to it.
Well, yeah, because you're tying one hand behind your back. Because when you're a single guy, we can do some things that really kind of embolden our chances, right? We can have a good job, drive a nice car, wear nice clothes.
Why don't those things work for you as a married guy?
Have a nice house, right? And have something to offer, a stability, comfort, a life, children, right? There's things as single guys that we can characteristically offer in a relationship that intuitively are attractive to women. I know that your inner feminist is telling me to eat shit, but
I was just thinking my standards were too low. Like, I was not looking for all of those things. My list was way shorter than that.
That's what you made it easy for me.
Fuck off.
But in reality, I think that those biologically are things that are attractive, right? When a guy is stable, has a good job, maybe he has a good father if he already has kids. Maybe he's good to waiters and waitresses and his dog and all these things. And you're like, wow, I could really love this guy forever. None of those things play into your favor, really, and ethical non-monogamy. I mean, they do, but not the same way.
Okay.
Right. So let's kind of talk and kind of flip it around a little bit, because we're going to get to some of that when we talk about this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the things that guys can do to make their already shit chances a little bit better.
Come on, let's smoke some hopium here.
No. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm going to start with pictures. I think pictures is the obvious one. This is your curb appeal, right? Think about it like a real estate agent. You want the house to look as good as it can from the road as people pass by.
Trim the bushes. It makes the house look bigger.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, take some time, put some effort, and even get some taken if you need to, I would recommend laying off the gym pictures. I mean, maybe one or two sprinkled in there, but like if that's the majority or your profile pic,
it screams narcissism.
A little bit. And I don't want to feel like you're going to be the center of attention in our engagement.
Yeah.
Like, and only you.
Yeah.
And
I feel the same way about fish pictures. Like when I look at pictures.
PH or F?
No, F.
Okay. Because definitely none of the PH ones.
No,
do not fish girls, because they will, you will get canceled.
Right. Do not show up being an entirely different person.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like no fishing pictures, right?
Okay.
It's like every guy, for whatever reason, I like my fish pictures. I take pictures of me with fish too. Yeah. I do not put them on our profile.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not as adamant about the outdoorsy, like fishing, boating, camping, tennis, like sports.
You were raised a redneck, so it's fine.
Wow. You're really going like below the belt here, mister.
Not at all. I love rednecks.
Okay, well,
I relate.
but again, don't make it your maybe primary profile picture, and maybe not more than one or two.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to like hold the bass's mouth up to the camera and be like, I can see you making this face with my dick in your mouth.
Yeah, no, that doesn't scream.
No, none of that.
But, you know, something I love is like the nice clean cut, maybe like going out, dress shirt, even a nice pair of jeans or dress pants or suit. Those always seem
show off your style,
Yeah.
show off your personality.
Yeah.
You know, show off something other than, and you know what, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, if your passion is things like fishing, if your passion is things like, you know, dance or you know, your car or whatever it is, what the hell have you done over there?
I smell my water, and it looks like I pissed myself.
No, they can't
It's
see you. This
super
is an
cold.
audio production, darling.
So cold. Aw.
You have a cold vagina.
And I have no towel.
Oh, my gosh. All right, we're going to be back right after this. We clean her up. All right, we're back with Mallory's wet ass.
My butt is so wet. Why did you give me a cup with no lid?
Well, it's not my fault.
It is totally
that
your
you
fault.
can't be trusted to hold a glass. Okay,
that is
you're sober.
I
The
am
last episode
totally-
you were not sober. I would have totally understood this.
I know I'm sober, but I can't be trusted with those things.
Oh my god!
This is why we have 1,000 cups with lids in our home.
You realize you tell everybody that I'm the extra child, and you just told me you can't be trusted without a sippy cup. Okay. Just want to
Anyway,
point that
my
out. But
butt's
anyway,
wet.
back to photographs. Definitely get some nice pictures taken, guys. There's nothing wrong with looking your best in these pictures. One of my buddies, matter of fact, he's been on the show, is the Alabaster Scrotum. You know, when he was out there looking, and it's the same advice I gave him, he was on Match. And I'm like, dude, go get your photos taken. Get a photographer in there and get some good pictures of yourself. And you know, he's ugly as fuck, so it was really hard for him to get good pictures
Oh my
taken.
God, you're such a jerk. He's not.
So I had to, you know, push him to do that. But he did, and his girlfriend is stunning, so he did just fine.
He does have good taste.
Yeah, well, he's got very, very high standards, but so he's alone a lot.
But yeah, I
this
mean,
was a-
and if you can't afford a photographer, that's not a big deal. Have a friend take him.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
whatnot.
something that's not a selfie, right?
Yeah.
There's a good answer. Have a friend take it. You know, put on a nice shirt. You know, and
Or
just,
hell, $12 on Amazon, little Bluetooth like tripod with a little clicker, and you're all set.
there you go. You can use those for your dick pics too, fellas.
Yeah, we'll show you how.
Right. So, and your profile, here's something that's kind of a big deal, right? And this actually applies to swinger profiles too, I think.
Okay.
Not just ENM or only open marriages or singles, but be affable, be approachable, be fun. Talk about some things that you're genuinely passionate about that are not getting laid. Don't make it all about sex, boys.
If you can tell me something that you're passionate about and really exude that passion in conversation, in my head, I'm already in parallel thinking about, well, if he's this excited about this thing, like, wow, he's really going to be like into sex.
Yeah. Show me that you've got some.
I personally make that correlation.
Really?
Is that crazy?
God, I just love putting my fingers on the piano and the feeling of the vibration and the tingling.
Maybe. Yeah, but
You're
you
like-
can't play piano, so I don't believe you.
I can play with one key. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Here, let me do that on your clit later and see how that goes. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding, ding,
we're
ding.
not dinking my clit. Thank you, though.
Nah, seriously, guys, if you're not trying to fall in love, but you do need to make her feel comfortable and show her that you're not utterly objectifying her before
She
that's
asked
what-
you to?
Yeah, there's a good one.
Okay.
Like, yeah, before she's like, please. Yeah, and I think a lot of times, you know, I think one of the most troubling things I see in profiles, even in whether they're couples or guys, is we all know what we're here for. What a fast way to completely eliminate part of a conversation. What if that person had amazing things to tell you about things that you had no idea they knew about? And you're like, well, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to talk about fucking because that's why I'm here.
That's a good way to get kicked out of club for me.
Quick. Yeah.
hate
For
that.
a lot of people, right? I mean, you can't tell them what they want to talk about. Be open. That's what I mean by affable, right?
Well, and here's another indicator in conversation, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, not at all. It's your show too.
If you can't, yeah, that's true. If you can't hold a conversation with me, you're not going to keep up with me in bed. That's an assumption I make, right or wrong. if it tells me you're not listening, you're not taking direction, you have one objective. And if that's the only objective, you're not going to be a great lover because it's a two-way street.
That's true. So what you're saying is if they don't stop to hear you and what you want in a conversation, then they're a poor communicator. And if they're a poor communicator out of the bed, they're going to be a poor communicator in the bed.
Or they don't have confidence enough to talk about their wants, likes, feelings, opinions on things.
Right.
They just want to fast track the transaction, and that's not my bag.
Well, and at the end of the day, none of us in ethical non-monogamy, in open marriages or otherwise, are a known quantity initially to the other party.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, you're taking a shot on somebody. You're taking a risk on somebody, giving them a chance to sleep with you and please you. So to minimize those risks is the goal, right? So women characteristically, and this again is kind of generalizations. This is not everything. But women feel sexy when they feel certain things.
Mm-hmm. Safe.
Safe is a big one.
That gives me permission to let down my guard so that I can enjoy the environment I'm in.
Right. When's the last time you got wet in a horror flick?
Never.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
somebody does,
yeah.
but not you.
Yeah. If I'm scared or I don't feel comfortable, there's no chance I'm horny.
Yeah. So safety is important.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what we're getting at here, guys, is these things that you're building toward. You want her to feel these things. You want her to feel safe. You want her to feel respected.
Ooh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Right? Respected is a big deal so don't use derogatory language or offensive language for body parts unless she tells you that it turns her on. Specifically, avoid the golden monster, right? The shining example for all swear words that all women hate.
Cunt.
That'd be the one.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, unless I say it first in the throes of passion, we shouldn't.
It just comes off the tongue wrong. If I look at you and go, God, I can't wait to get in your cunt.
You know what? And here's one, pussy. It really depends on who says it and how. Sometimes it comes across very sexy. Sometimes it comes across as just gross.
Yeah, I tend to eschew names for body parts, especially in new relationships, just because I think it's easier to refer to a person as a whole person and not objectify individual parts of them, unless I'm calling
that's
out
part of it.
Exactly, but unless it's part of their kink or they're into it. But or it's something that is maybe not something that puts them on edge or on guard. Like, you have beautiful eyes. I can say that, but I can say, God, I can't wait to see your tits. Wait a minute. That's very two different things. I'm still complimenting two parts of your body. You have beautiful tits, you have beautiful eyes, and you have both. But I think it's a lot more acceptable to talk about something you can easily see. Your hair looks beautiful tonight. But if I go, wow, your ass looks amazing in those pants. It really depends on comfort level before you can say something like that.
It really does. I would err on the side of caution and read the room, know your audience.
Yeah, skip it. Just err on the side of respect until it's time to be disrespectful. And then you're still being respectful because she told you it was okay.
Yeah. And I've had guys actually ask permission if they could say something a little more risque.
That is a great thing.
Pardon me, but I have something I want to tell you, but I really hope it doesn't offend you. Do you mind if I refer to and then X, Y, or Z?
Well played, sir.
Yes. And then I'm like, you like that? Yeah.
Get you some. Yeah. But, something else that you should do with women is make them feel desired.
Oh, that's
but not
huge.
stalked.
Exactly. That's a fine line. Like, this is not like desperately longed for, or providing to a charity or fulfilling like a lifelong fantasy. I mean, that's not anywhere close to what this is about. You're gonna have to work for it though, and you're gonna have to still play it a little cool while still make her feel like she's wanted. So it's a little bit of a
cat and mouse.
A little bit of a cat and mouse, and it's a very fine line, you know. So
it's kind of like playing a fish, guys. If you pull too hard, you're gonna pull it out of their mouth. If you don't pull hard enough, they're gonna run away. It's a dance. Since we're talking about fish pictures.
Of course you would.
Of course I would. And I'm all right. I have a lot of fish pictures, whatever. What about making people feel valued? Is that different than desired?
Yeah, I think this is letting them know that their time matters, that, they as a human matter, but not to like the deep depths of like what I described earlier as well. Like if you say you're going to message or text, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say you're going to show up, do it.
Yeah.
Keep the lines of communication open. Shit happens, but let them know. I've had that happen before, and it does feel shitty.
Yeah.
Like, I understand life happens, whatnot, but like a simple text could have course corrected that and just kept me in the loop and made me feel like you valued my time and my intentions.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can tell you in terms of valued that is super important from experience is showing them they're valued after you play.
Ugh, that is so important. I'm actually struggling with a little bit of that right now. So like preach.
Yeah, right. It's important before. I mean, I was kind of famous for holding parking spots under a light or close to where we were going, and then
so that when you guys were done with your date, like she didn't have to walk out to her car. I mean, you always. I know you would totally walk them to their car
every time.
That's still like very, very thoughtful of you.
Just to make sure they didn't have far to go, that it was safe, and you know what? I also did it just to kind of. I've always kind of subscribed to the Groucho Marx theory that I would have no part of a club that would have me as a member.
Okay.
Meaning that I'm just going to expect that they may not be into me, and that's okay. And if for some reason they wanted to leave before, or they didn't want me to walk them to their car, or maybe I wasn't what they expected I would be, I wanted them to be safe and know that they were valued, even if they weren't into me, and be able to get to where they needed to go safely and quickly. So I would just say, hey, I got a great parking spot here. When you pull up, I'm in this vehicle. I'm in a red Dodge, whatever. I'm going to back out, and you take the parking spot, and I'll go park out on the back 40. And we'll meet up inside. You know, that kind of thing. And I think that things like that, and you can do any number of those things, even if it's, hey, I'm on my way. I got here early, and there was a detour, so you have to go this other way. But I'm still at the restaurant. Just know that there's a detour. Be ready for that when you get over here. Or there's a lot of traffic. Maybe we should meet somewhere else. Or maybe this place is closed. What do you think of going here? If you're early, you can do those kind of things, and it shows that you value that person, their safety, and their time.
I love that.
And I think that matters.
I do too. So, what else? You know, something that can make it really easy just to hold their attention, make them feel some of those things that we just talked about, is listening.
Yeah, make them feel heard.
Like, and that keys into the conversation as a whole, though. You know, they need to ask about, you know, what are you interested in? Or is there anything you're passionate about? Are there things that make her laugh? Maybe. If you show that you have general interest in getting to know me before getting inside me, that is literally one of the quickest paths to my pants.
I'm learning stuff here, folks.
I'm sorry. Like, I should I be ashamed that I see those as signs of respect and affirmation?
No, I don't think you should be ashamed of that at all. I think it's solid.
Okay.
Now, everything we've just talked about here, guys, or not everything, but a lot of what we just talked about is what happens after you get the date. So there are some other things that are before the date, right? Because the date's actually the hardest thing to get.
That's true. I've kind of jumped the gun there.
Well, and we've talked a little bit or a lot of it about things that are after you get the date. But before you get the date, there's some other things you can do. And something that I found to be extremely helpful in my time was make notes. Do not send the same fucking form letter message to the same girl twice.
Oh, my gosh. We get that.
Well, we get it all the time from couples.
Yeah.
Or we get it from guys, too. We get it a lot of guys. We get the same form letter. What's funny is, literally, we got one yesterday, and the last time we heard from them was in June.
Yeah.
And the very next message was the exact same message they sent us in June, and it was yesterday.
Wow.
I'm like, did you not notice that when you hit send?
I get it. It's still a numbers game, but I will say front of the pack goes anyone who, because I'll typically plant, I won't call them Easter eggs, but pertinent information that, you know, are identifiers for me that you've read my profile. And that
Brilliant.
I put something quirky or funny or like in there. When they reference it, I'm like, motherfuck, they went through my profile and actually spent the time to figure out who I am and then wanted to respond to me and curate the response that reflects what they were able to read, what they know of me.
I tend to be entertained at least, and I feel a little more endeared to the people, for example, that respond to our couples profile. And we have in that profile that you have an affection for firefighters, first responders, military, and police officers. And when they comment on that, like I either am or I am not, at least I know they read the profile because it's pretty much all the way at the bottom.
Right. Exactly. And it's such in a lot of ways, that's kind of an icebreaker too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, this last thing here, well, it's not quite the last thing, but it's next to the last. But guys, this is, like we said earlier, this is a numbers game. There are going to be a lot of profiles that are either fake, that are unattended, they were trial accounts. I don't trust you with that water, by the way.
I just drank it all. It's fine.
Okay. But you're going to cast a wide net. The chances of finding the perfect friend in your backyard is pretty freaking slim.
Okay.
Unless you live in a very densely populated area like New York City. So you're going to have to cast your net wide and remember that even if you do it all right, it's still a numbers game. You might send 100 messages to get 10 responses that result in one date. Don't get discouraged. Whatever you do, don't get pushy.
Right.
I think that's important.
Yeah. And I think they'll likely need multiple services, right? I don't know that signing up for one is going to do them any.
Yeah, for the best
any
chances
favors.
of success, you're probably going to need to be in a number of places.
Yeah. And you're going to have to log in consistently. You know,
Yeah.
lag time of not, being on there is not going to work for you.
Yeah, you can't hit it once a month. And, here's the other thing you can't do. Don't hit it Friday afternoon because your wife suddenly has a date and you want something to do. And be like, what are you doing tonight?
Oh, no. I think you guys may have to nurture those objectives a lot more, like you said.
Yeah. And officially, last one, don't be me. Don't be what I used to be. Don't do what I did. Don't be a lying scumbag. Right?
I'm so glad you're not a lying scumbag anymore.
Oh, God, not even a little bit. It really should be common sense, guys, but unfortunately, desperate times call for desperate measures. Many guys just leave it off for another time, and they never get around to discussing it, right, or until it comes up. All this does is violate almost everything that makes a woman feel sexy that we talked about a little while ago, and it leads her on and puts her in a terrible position. Don't do it. Seriously, don't, even if it means you spend more time trying than succeeding.
Yeah. A little side note here, if I may just derail this conversation. If they are married playing solo, something that may be something super cool for them to have, especially if they have a couples profile and she's their single profile, right, like that we discussed earlier. What if their wife wrote a testimonial for him?
I think that's a great thing. But I think the other thing that you should probably do is, as part of your photos, have a photo of you and your wife and have her do something silly or fun, like hold up a sign that go, I'm good with it, or it's
please
cool.
fuck my husband.
Fuck my husband, or, husband for rent, or whatever,
right.
have some fun with it that shows that she's cool with it, that she's comfortable with it.
Yeah, and being open, and if she's open to being accessible, like maybe you can drop in her DM and be like, yo.
Yeah, or have a group message.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and
That's
just say, hey, this is Mallory, and this is my wife, and she's cool with us going on a date and potentially hooking up and having some fun. Mallory, by all means, talk to girl B or whatever, right? I mean, it can be a challenge. So one last thing before we jump off to Mallory's Toy Box, which is our segment.
So excited. I'm going to talk about dicks.
Oh, sweet. We've been talking about dicks this whole time. But this is going to be a bit controversial, which is why I wanted to end with it. And I think it's probably worthwhile. So, guys, please forgive me on this one. There's people that are not going to like this. Matter of fact, I know Mallory's not going to like it.
Okay, go for it.
And it's important, all right? Know your league and stay in it for the best chances of success.
What the fuck does that mean?
I hate to say this, but I see it all the time, and I've seen it a ton, especially, in your situation. And no, I'm not saying to stand in the mirror lamenting your receding hairline while sobbing over a glass of wine and watching Gilmore Girls. I'm not telling you guys that you're not good enough. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that a 40-something middle-aged guy with a dad bod who hasn't seen a gym in the better part of 20 years, who has the fashion of a 40-something middle-aged dad bod guy, with, t-shirt.
Cargo shorts and Crocs.
Right, cargo shorts, Crocs with socks, world's greatest dad t-shirt.
Oh, I'm masturbatory over here. I love that.
You're just
I'm
rubbing
into
it out
I'm
right
totally into it. I'm not being facetious or smug.
I know you're not. You might be, but here's the thing. the 21-year-old hottie you're hitting up on Tinder probably isn't into that. She's probably not into guys that are her dad's age. She probably thinks you're a creeper. If you're attracted to girls like that, you already have, you've cut your chances pretty lean already, because that the group in that age range, for example, or in that style range or whatever, is already pretty thin for ones that are interested in 40-something-year-old guys, right? So a 22 or 24-year-old girl, in college, best shape of her life, looks amazing. There aren't a ton of those that are into 40-something-year-old guys with dad bods. There's just not a ton of them. So you're already got slim pickings, and now you're married. So now you just took it down to 1% of 5%. You just killed off half of your chances by shooting for the stars. And I'm not saying you shouldn't shoot for the stars, but if that's all you do, you're going to be like the alabaster scrotum and spend a lot of time masturbating.
I was going to say, don't listen to Mickey. I believe in you. You can do it. Just don't be creepy or weird or a jerk, okay?
Yeah, right? What you're looking for is a friend like you, right? Don't make choices that make it harder on yourself. It's already damn near impossible. The whole episode title was Mission Impossible. So look for people that have similar demographics to you, right? So region, age, similar income levels, right? If all you do is hit on waitresses, which, by the way, I'm guilty of.
I know.
Hitting on so many waitresses, it's stupid, right? It may not work in the long term because you guys may not want or desire the same things. So similar wants. Look for somebody maybe that's also married or also in an open relationship. That's a great thing to do and already increases your chances of success. And the last thing is somebody that knows that this is probably not a forever thing.
Well, I mean, if you're married, probably not.
Some
really
people get
depends.
delusions of grandeur and they think that they're going to talk you out of what you're in. When you see those signs, you got to walk away.
Yeah, that's true. Been there.
Yeah, we have. So there's some pretty brutal truth dropped here for how difficult this is. But I think that there's opportunity, and I think it can be done. I think guys prove it every day, and women help them prove it.
And, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of struggles here. And, this conversation is by no means, comprehensive, right?
Yeah.
Again, we said this is just opinion-based. You had, a sample to pull from and your experiences. And I gave my perspective being, a single girl. Well, not a single girl, but doing the hot wife thing. I just said single girl. That just made me laugh. Please, I don't want to be a single girl.
You sure?
Don't divorce me.
We can make that happen.
I won't be smug
Mickey's
anymore.
on the market, ladies. Line up at the door.
I promise to never be smug again unless I'm right.
Whatever. I'm getting out my Crocs and my socks.
But like you said, nothing we said here is irrefutable, right?
No.
It's not gospel.
It's not going to apply to every single person. There's no person listening to this show, either of them, that everything we said is going to apply to.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And you know what? Everyone's going to have their own opinions and their own experiences, and that's cool. That's okay. And if there's anything positive to offer out to the community, raise your hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a tough conversation and tough objective for gentlemen out there to go after. So anything that you can offer that would be helpful would be great.
I mean, they literally are trying to win the Super Bowl by themselves, right? When they go out there.
They're the real heroes.
They are. The real men of genius. The guys that go out there and slug this shit out on their own. No, this is designed, actually, this episode is not designed to bag on anybody that's trying to do that. I've been that guy. I respect the shit out of you if you're trying, because it's not easy. And it's designed to help our friends out there have better experiences and open, ethically non-monogamous relationships as a guy. It's hard to get laid as a married guy playing single. We honestly hope any of you find this helpful. And we got a toy box up if you want to tell everybody how to find us. They're beautiful.
Sure. We are Casual Swinger everywhere. You can find us at casualswinger.com. Feel free to shoot us a message at podcast@casualswinger.com. We are on social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. You can also find us on the dating sites. That's SDCSLS, Cassidy, and Double Date Nation.
She's quick at it, even when she calls Twitter tweeter.
I also said I was single. I can't believe we did that.
And she's single.
And I spilt water. I need dry January to be over because I'm a hot mess express.
That's right. You need a drink. That'll fix it all. Folks, we'll be right back with Mallory's Toy Box and some of her favorite rubber dates. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Penis.
And we're back to Casual Swinger from Mallory's box.
Yes, and my butt's still wet.
We're talking about the other side, the other box.
Oh, this box.
Yes, her toy box.
We haven't had a toy box in a while, and I'm super excited for this one.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So we're going to play with some dicks today.
Oh, boy. I can't wait.
I've been really loving double play, like using my vibrator and my dildos.
Really?
Uh-huh. Very much so. And what I absolutely love about these is they're so multi-purpose and like, I don't know, they're just really getting the job done for me lately, especially since I'm in that headspace. So we're talking about these items are both made by Blush. So we're going to talk about the Blush Avant and the Blush Rouge Jammy. We actually just recommended the Jammy to somebody recently, so 2 thumbs up.
I think I was Shane from Sex on the Fringe.
Nice. So what I love about the Blush Avant, it's actually the D8.
Okay.
And it's one of the Ergo lines. And what that is, it's like a ergonomical feature that they made that has, what is it called? It's got the dual density. That's what it is. Dual density.
Yeah.
Where it has the rod kind of in the
Solid
middle.
core center.
Solid core. And then it's got a more malleable but firm outer
So it kind of
sheath.
feels like a real dick.
Kind of without the veins. So it's very smooth in its contours. It's still shaped like a penis without the balls. But it's very, very smooth. But it's got some give to it. And it's pure silicone. I absolutely love the weight and how it feels. Super easy to clean. I can use it in all of my harnesses, and it has the suction attachment, so I can use it on the headboard or on the tile, either in the shower, on the floor. So it really can be used in multiple areas. I love a good multi-purpose dildo like that. The other side of this is the Blush does a great job about giving the descriptions of the sizes, which is not really usual in that community, but Avant does a great job of that.
That's uncommon with dildos, period. Like they tell you their length and their insertable length, but that's about it.
Well, so they do that, and they also give you like the girth. So the size on this one is 7.5 inches long, with 6 inches being insertable. So you do have a little bit of a base there, and it's 1.5 inches wide. So if you wanted to do like the full like circumference, you could figure that out by times it.
They expect you to be good at geometry,
yes,
yeah.
there.
But a lot of them will give you circumference, but not width.
Right. So the width in that is 1.5 inches, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I promise you, it's sizable.
So you noticed.
Yes, I definitely noticed the girth.
And this is on the D8, not the Jammy.
Yes, this is the D8, and it's not. I wouldn't say like it's a big stretch for me because you're pretty girthy, so I want to say it's a little more narrow than you are. So, but not by. It's probably comparable in a manufactured dildo. I think you're just a slight bit wider.
Oh, cool. Guess they didn't use me as the model for that one.
Yeah, but it's also comfortable because it still has that weight, but that stiffness, but it has the flexibility. So I'm able to use it where it still kind of hits like the sides, the wall, the back, and not break. Because some of them that have that quote unquote real feel to them are a little bit almost too like flimsy. Not flimsy, whatever, flaccid. They almost feel flaccid, and I don't like that because I like giving it.
We don't even use those anymore because they're always made of TPR or TPE, not body safe silicone like the Blush stuff is.
And this is it's all body safe silicone. This one is platinum cured silicone, so it's non-porous, super easy to clean, like squeaky clean. And you know me and the germs and like the dust and whatnot, all that shit freaks me out.
It works fine with Uber Lube. That's an old wives' tale that you can't use a silicone-based lube with a silicone toy.
Now,
just clean it when you're done.
I was gonna say, out of habit, regardless of whatever lube you use, you should be washing them after use, pretty much immediately. Once you're done playing,
don't come and pass out. Wash your dildo.
The next thing you do, you go pee, go clean up. Always pee after sex. It's good for your bladder systems and whatnot down there.
Okay.
And then go clean your shit. Like, don't let that sit there and fester and flake and bad habit. So, and the other one that Avant makes that I really like, and I'm gonna blush a little bit when I'm gonna say it.
Oh, is that a pun?
It's funny.
It's punny.
Is the Rouge Jammy.
That thing's popular as hell.
I can see why.
Well, Mrs. Monogamish loves hers to pieces too.
That's an awesome dildo. It's girthy. It's got a little bit of weight to it, not in the core like the other one does, but like overall, because it's pretty sizable, and the construction has all the vein definition in them, so you get some friction off that,
So it's a big dong without being a giant dong.
It is 7.5 inches insertable, 8 inches long, 2 inches wide. So it's wider than you. I actually can feel a little bit of a stretch when I use it.
Nice.
So that for me, and for me, when I'm masturbating, that's part of like the turn on and part of the piece that gets me to climax is that feel of stretch, especially as it's like slowly being put in. Fucking love it. And same concept. It can go with me in my strap on or on the headboard, shower, same suction design. And I lied. The other one actually does have a little tiny set of balls on it.
I thought it did, but
I was thinking about that
because
I had it on the headboard and it was hitting like my clit a little bit, so I had just rewound the tape and it popped up. So I lied, guys. The Blush Avant does have balls on it.
The D8.
Yeah. But the Jamie's actually fantastic. So it's got a curved shaft to it, unlike the other one, which I like, and a more pronounced what they call corona to the head of the dick. So it's like a little more obvious. You get a little extra rub and push with that. And I find it hits my G-spot pretty well. And on the description, it identifies that really great for G-spot and prostate play.
Yeah, well, we're not putting any of those monsters anywhere near my butthole, so.
I was going to say, you're...
No, we're good.
I wish you luck.
Yeah. Thanks. I need to be able to sit down to drive places. So we're not going to do that. But, I will
it's
say
all
a couple
pure silicone, too.
They are. And, so Blush has done a really good job as a whole. The Avant series, the Ruse series, they've really done a good job of seeing that the market was moving toward body-safe toys. Mm-hmm. And they came out with both of these lines. There's the D7, for example, which is a slightly smaller version of that Avant that Mallory was talking about.
Yeah, so, and the D10, I think, isn't the other one.
Yeah, and
that because that's a mini.
Yeah, that's
the
a
D10
tiny
is
one.
The mini. So they really make. Not only do they come in all these shapes and sizes, they're also body safe. They also work with all the harnesses. And their descriptions are spot on.
They are. But so when you look at toys like this, when you look at, for example, the Avant series, one of the nice things about the Avant series is it does have that smooth construction. So if you are using it for let's say dual play, for like pegging, for example, if you're playing as a couple, smooth toys are better for things like pegging than things like the Jammy. The Ruse Jammy has a very lifelike exterior experience with veins and ridges and edges.
Yeah, and it's definitely firmer. So in some ways less like the real thing because there's a little bit less give. I wanted that out of this dildo, especially for obviously vaginal use in that circumstance. And I can see exactly what you're saying. If I were to pick one for anal play, definitely the smooth contour. Well,
and that's kind of the case. It's the same thing I tell everybody that reaches out to us in the store. They're like, I'm looking for a toy for pegging. I'm like, small and smooth. Because just going up your butt. And guys don't buy small and smooth. Just, guys always buy things that look like giant, triumphant dicks. And that's, if you're a guy getting into pegging, that's not what you want to start out with. You're not ready for that. And those kind of things are for vaginas that are used to having dicks with ridges and veins and things in them.
Yeah, that could actually be dangerous for them.
It can. You can actually hurt yourself and spend a long time in the hospital. We've actually heard about someone who did that.
Yeah, and I can tell you, you will not enjoy having a bag.
No.
A shit bag.
A shit bag is definitely not something you want. So, but these toys are some of the more inexpensive high quality toys too. I mean, we're talking.
These are all under $50.
Yeah, under $50, and they're incredibly high quality.
In some cases under 40.
Yeah. So the Blush Avant series, the Ruse series, they're outstanding dildos. Thank you, Miss Mallory, for picking a couple of your favorites.
It's really tough being me, trying out all these new toys. Like,
yeah, you just have to fuck yourself stupid with all these new toys.
And I don't care if you call it a gift gif, both are right. The hot dog one with the girl in the face.
The dicks flying at you?
Yes, but dildos. That is my life right now.
Just raining dildos.
Yeah, because I think I tried 4 or 5. And I kept going back to the Avants. Like they're my my number one dildo.
Yeah, we got some hand-poured ones that were nice enough, but...
They're great, but I just don't find myself using them as much as the Avant.
Yeah, well, I think the consistent quality of them helps. Great warranty.
Yeah. Good on blush.
Yeah, good on blush. They did a good job here. So I think that's going to do it for us in Mission Impossible, folks. Hopefully you guys had fun doing it. Mallory, you want to say bye to these folks?
Bye, folks. My butt's dry now.
Her butt's dry, and that was it for Mallory's Toy Box. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you again in a couple of weeks. We're going to be teeing up one of our friends for an episode we're going to call Whiskey Business. That's coming your way. So we'll talk soon. I don't know what the fuck to say. You've been listening to Casual Swinger.
Love you. Bye.